All right. Welcome to the Dirty Casual Corner, episode 5. We had a setback here for we had a setback for the recording a while back. We would have recorded on the 15th of December, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
We'll talk about that a little later. But for now, welcome back.
Hello.
The date is the 23rd.
It is the 23rd.
Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and the day after that is Christmas Day. So we made it.
Made it before the holiday rush, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. So let's just start off with our first topic. Sean, you want to take a
All right.
what have you been watching?
I'll jump in here since a couple things. Okay, so I'll start with the things I haven't finished first. Fate Apocrypha, still airing, of course. It has 2 more episodes before it finishes.
You continued it?
I'm this far in, 20, now I'm 23 out of 25, so fuck it, I don't want to keep going, but I just do,
Yeah.
There was actually a really good fight in there, 2 episodes ago, I want to say, 2 or 3 ago.
Mm-hmm.
The manliest fight between Chiron and Achilles, the student and the master.
Uh-huh.
They had a bare knuckle fist fight on top of a fucking airplane, and it was amazing. They went at it like men. They said, you know what? No powers, nothing. We're fucking doing this like men, and they just went at it, and it was glorious.
And that was it? That was the only good thing about it?
Well then, okay, so yeah, there was that fight. Ended with one of them dying. It was Chiron. Chiron died, but he shot Achilles' heel before he died, so he wouldn't be immortal. And then the next episode was kind of a weird one. They spent a lot of budget on it. They hired a ton of new animators and all this stuff just for this one episode where they had 3 huge fights going on at the same time between a bunch of different servants.
Mm-hmm.
But the art style, they completely changed the art style. It kind of almost looked like it was a Trigger show at that point with the way the art style changed. Which isn't a bad thing. I think the animation itself was actually really high quality. But the real problem was the choreography and the camera work.
Because it's new people.
Yeah, and so the fights really, they looked impressive, but you couldn't never, ever tell what was going on in any of them, which was kind of a disappointment. So there was a lot of shit going on in that. 3 more servants died in that episode. It was a bloodbath.
All right.
And then you've got the climax coming up. You've got oh god, and I just remembered. I didn't even write it down, but the fucking you have Ruler, of course, who's
totally
like I mentioned
over MC
yes,
Boy.
Right. And so what happened is Shakespeare started using his powers, his writing powers, on her to try to break her mind. And so he was showing her her mother, like crying whenever she was leaving her village when she got the call of God, basically.
Mm-hmm.
She showed her leading the armies of France to their deaths, essentially. She showed her own death at the stake, and she said, oh, none of this bothers me, I've accepted all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just showed an illusion of main guy being killed, and she completely just broke down and just lost her entire mind after all
over
that.
Boy.
Just that, I'm like, come on, like, you're just gonna keep dragging that. It's just so bad. It's like,
because I don't think it had a really good source material, right? Was this a game?
Fate Apocrypha, I believe it was like a novel.
Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe they explained it better in the novel, like their relationship, I guess. But in the anime, just from what I've heard, everyone hates them. Like,
it's just so badly done, and the problem is, like, Ruler is such a really awesome class and cool character on paper. Like, her powers and what she does in the war kind of oversees it, but then her just falling head over heels for this idiot, lifeless doll is just, it just makes it so much worse, and it just diminishes her character, which could be so much better,
Okay. All right. Well, like I don't plan on watching it, so
Yeah, don't bother.
I probably won't.
There's like 2 episodes you could probably watch on their own. You'd be like, all right, that was pretty cool. But then but yeah, don't watch the whole thing.
Okay.
It's weak.
And what else have you been watching?
So finished Inuyashiki.
Oh, okay. You got big things on that. I remember.
So I think so series started strong. I had really high hopes for it.
Mm-hmm.
Really just kind of devolved, and you had all these side stories that just really meant nothing in the end at all. And then the main struggle between both the main characters, old man and the teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of them were well done. The flip flopping of the teenager, where he's bad and then he's good and then he's bad again,
mm-hmm.
and he regrets what he does and he doesn't regret it, and all this stuff. It was so jarring. Like, it was literally like in the same episode he'd kill like 10 people, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, like I want to be good now and help these people and start saving people, and it's just like it just comes out of left field, and it's just like it was probably done better in the manga when they had more time, but
I bet
it was very jarring in the anime. And then the ending, I want to say, really brought it down with the ass pull of the century.
Well, because like from what we've talked before, you say it's a rushed anime series, right?
I mean, yeah, they had 11 episodes for something like 70 chapters of source material, so
yeah, it should have been stretched a bit more.
And they went the entire thing. They went from start to finish. Like they put it all in there. So they even kept the original manga ending, which was the ass pull of
the century. Yeah,
after the whole conflict between the two fighting. Oh no! Look out, everyone! There's an asteroid going to come down and destroy
and Donald Trump
and end human life in 3 days. All of a sudden, and there's literally nothing we can do about it. So we're all going to die. And then Donald Trump comes on TV saying, "I don't give a fuck." Pretty much, I've lived my life fulfilled. I became the president of this great country. All that stuff.
Did he say that?
He did say that.
He did. I honestly, like, I remember like just a bunch of like presidential tie-ins when Obama was around. So it's nice to see like Trump is now literally a fucking meme. You know?
Yeah.
In anime, it's beautiful.
Japan is memeing him.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think I don't think they really care for what like people are talking about for him, but like they fucking meme really well. I give them credit.
So anyways, tying that in, of course, so yeah, this asteroid's coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Both main characters, they go up to the asteroid, like, can we push its trajectory or destroy it? Like, oh well, teenager goes, well, I'll self-destruct and push the trajectory out of the way. Blows himself up. It's not enough. Then Inuyashiki does it himself and destroys the rest of the asteroid. There we go. The two main characters are gone. The asteroid is gone, and that's it. That's the end.
Like, I know. To me, it just reminds me too much of the Iron Giant. So, like, I could see it in one aspect. It's supposed to be a really emotional like moment. Like, self-sacrifice is a big thing and all that.
Which it was a little bit emotional. I will say, I won't throw it totally under the bus. It was okay. Yeah. It was done okay, but it was still so rushed. It was just like
you couldn't enjoy it.
This conflict came up the same episode that it was fully resolved, and the entire story was tied up. So it was just like, it was all of a sudden. So
as an adaptation, basically from the manga to anime, it's not a really faithful
I guess it was technically faithful since they kept the events the same, but it wasn't. I guess it wasn't well done. I guess I would just say because it was so rushed. But
I agree.
I would give it like a 6 out of 10 anime for me. I would say somewhere around there. It was decent. It had its moments that I actually.
So should I watch it? Because I remember saying I would watch it, and it caught my eye because of the Gantz.
I feel like you had a lot more Gantz vibes at the very beginning, and then you kind of lost those. The first 2 episodes, you were like, man, this is gonna be brutal, and it was brutal, and then it just kind of fell off, and then the story kind of went in waves. It was up and down. But maybe if you really like that kind of thing, semi-thriller, kind of gory, lots of murder, a little bit of morality struggle.
Oh yeah,
then you might like it. So.
Well, it's by the guy who made Gantz, and like I remember trying to binge through the entire Gantz manga, and it's just like I think I stopped like maybe like I had a few more chapters to go, so I'll check it out, but like I don't have high expectations anymore. Right, what else have you been watching?
So last thing, Mahousukai no Yome, so
Mega Spread?
Yeah. And the just today the first half finished, so the first course is done. Mm-hmm. Had a really good ending and everything. Well, for the first season, it's gonna keep airing, of course, but it's really well done. Mm-hmm. Developed more of the main character and everything. Both of the main characters, Chise and Elias. Mm-hmm. Just really good. It's so hard for me to just like tell you about it, but you need to protect Chise.
I need to continue it, and I know I have been at fault for not continuing it, but it's been a real struggle to watch anime as it is at my house.
So, but I can't really go in too much without having to explain every single episode, because there's a lot of different stories in each single episode. So I won't go into it, but it is very good. It's beautiful. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It's really got the fantasy vibe down to a T. It's got its own full world that has everything fleshed out. Mm-hmm. Fleshed out well. The music's amazing. Visuals are great. Good characters and good characterization. So
all right, so now it's to me, right?
Yeah, so that's all I've been watching. What about you?
So, I've been watching a lot of things, given that it's not really anime. Some of it's not anime, some of it is. But the most notable one, I did finally finish MMO Junkie. What was it called? Netju no Susume?
Yeah.
In Japanese?
Yeah.
So, I gotta say, finishing it, midway, like the later half of the show is kind of slow, since you already predicted that they're basically gonna fuck,
right? Yeah, you can tell.
You can tell, but like some moments were really ass-pull where they're just dragging along, and it took so long for the guy to fucking confess, but in the end, the struggle for them, I guess that kind of waiting really made it feel like it was an actual relationship, going on.
Okay.
So I guess I dug it for that. And they had an OVA episode that really made me laugh.
I don't mind when they drag out some of the romances, as long as they're well done and the ending is solid, I'm getting like vibes of like Toradora, where it drug around for so long and then the ending was so strong.
Yeah, there's another anime I remember watching where, that's the problem with freaking tsundere girls. They say one thing, they mean another, and then when they finally say the one thing that they mean, they just totally revert back. Cause second season, I don't know, it's just me, but MMO Junkie had a really good down to earth vibe on a relationship. The girl went from being like trash looking fucking like shut in girl to like this hot damn babe, but like at heart, she's still that fucking trash, like, fucking shut-in girl, and I still dig that. And OVA episode kind of made me laugh, since, like, it was two halves, basically. First half was literally having, the setup was her laptop broke down, so they literally made a fucking custom PC from scratch, so they're just like, you don't understand, man. Like, if you haven't built a PC, you don't have that warm feeling of like building a PC together, But second half was literally a dream MMO.
That feel with no neat girlfriend to build PC with.
Yeah, that feels
bad, man.
Feels totally bad. But aside from that, I finished another show called Love is Like a Cocktail. So it's a 3-minute anime where it's just, I call it Bartender 101, because usually at the end they give you like a little small simple recipe of like what the cocktail is, the ingredients, and like they'll tell you how like it's kind of like done, shaken, stirred, or slowly pour or whatever. And it's just a very cutesy anime. It's short, you can watch it on a fucking bus ride, I guess.
Right.
Like,
I'm sure you could smash through it fast since they're so short.
Too. Yeah, they're like you probably wouldn't spend more than like half an hour on an entire thing of it.
Right.
And I dug it, but the last episode really didn't have a cocktail thing, so I was really disappointed. But I finished it, and I feel good about it. You know, it still makes me feel warm inside whenever I drink.
Okay.
So,
what would you rate? What would you rate those two?
Oh, MMO and Love. I would give Love is like a cocktail. Like, it's really hard to pin down a 3-minute anime.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of on its
own. But I'd give
thing.
it it's definitely above average. So I'd give it a 7.5.
Something like okay.
If you need a rating, but so MMO Junkie, I'd definitely give it a solid 8.9. Like,
okay, that's pretty high.
It's, you know, it has its moments where it's kind of slow, you know, get to it already.
Right, yeah.
But, like, you know, the journey, it's not really about the destination, it's about the journey. And, you know, that journey made it worth the destination, man. So yeah, I give it that much of a rating.
Nice, okay.
Alright, so another show, I literally stopped mid-season for this show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, midway through. So,
okay.
Blend Death.
Right, okay.
The cafe trope anime.
Yeah.
Like, I like the premise of like what it is, but I just kind of am not really into it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I saw it and I was like, I think I made that assumption ahead of time where it's like I might like a little bit of it, but I probably won't finish it.
I had a feeling I wouldn't either. I got into like a good amount. It had a lot of nerd comedy jokes on it. Like, they had a freaking DF joke where they're like, "Oh no, I need to fucking get a friend to add thing and all this shit." Cause like, I need. They're talking Monster Hunter shit, I guess. Yeah, that's what I understood it for. And this fucking Soon girl's like, "I want to be friends with them because raids." But I stopped midway. I'll probably maybe continue it down the line before this year ends, but chances of that happening is really slim, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll mention the last anime I have because the other thing I want to talk about isn't an anime.
Okay.
But I started the first episode of Yu Yu Hakusho again.
Good. Always amazing to watch.
Last time I watched Yu Yu Hakusho, I've seen it 2 times already. First time was way back in when Toonami was airing it, so probably like early 2000s or 90s, late 90s.
When Toonami was airing it, that was probably, let's see how, that was probably 2001, 2002.
Yeah, so it's like that, a good while ago. And the second time I watched it was with the gang. Yeah, where we literally, what was it? We came together, a group of 5. To sit down and watch like episode after episode of Yu Yu Hakusho, and oh my gosh, you know, we laughed, we cried, you know, we felt.
You get hyped together, fuck yeah.
It's I'm watching the first episode and like I'm already being pulled in, like, and I've seen it 2 times. Like, it's amazing. Like, the magic is still there, you know. It's the same guy who made Hunter x Hunter, and he just knows how to pull you in and keep you in.
Yeah, Togashi, his writing, I don't know, something about his writing, he's really good at pulling you into a story that's just gonna go on, and it has this fully fleshed out world. Mm-hmm. He's just so good at it. I don't know. He's smashed it twice. And
I mean, there's moments where I just can't stand, like, Hunter x Hunter, because it's slow, or some episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho are slow.
Yeah, you get.
But there's so few. Like, the whole thing is basically a beautiful pearl.
Yeah, they have a couple filler episodes here and there that just kind of are just for fun. But then, like, 95% of it's just like down to the wire, intense. Like, there's always some shit going down, pretty much.
Like I'm saying, first episode is literally main character dying, Yusuke dying, and, you know, I'm pulled in, like, at the end of the episode. I'm just like, I know I'm going to continue it. And straight up, like, I'm just going to say it here, it's a 10 out of 10 show.
It's one of the best shows of all time, like, easily.
Something about it back in the day. The art style just holds up.
It does. It actually looks really good if you can find, like, the Blu-ray 960p versions.
You probably
looks
do, huh?
Fucking amazing.
You have it?
I do have it. Yeah.
I want it.
Exactly.
All right.
It looks beautiful. Honestly, even on like big HD TVs today, it still looks fucking crisp.
Oh no, yeah, definitely agree. Plus, I've probably listened to the opening of the Yu Yu Hakusho show so many times, and I still can't get over it. Like,
I'm almost in the 4 digits, I'm sure, at this point.
Oh, dude, I'm somewhere probably a little underneath that, but definitely no less than 3 digits.
Yeah.
So
great.
Amazing now we go to the last thing I watched, which I'm really regretting not just mentioning, but I watched The Last Jedi.
Oh no.
And I'll just say this much. I'm not even going to rate it because people are already doing that, but I liked it, but I didn't love it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There was a lot of things I liked, a lot of things I hated, and I just accepted that Star Wars every Star Wars has like a very shitty part in the movie where you could skip over it and it wouldn't really affect the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like Episode 4 had the garbage, crushing part. If you could skip that bit and it wouldn't affect the story, pod racing for Episode 1, if you remember that.
Yep.
This one, like, the casino one was basically what killed me. I was just new. Like, okay, you could just get rid of this whole casino bit and it'd be over. You could just you just brush past that and it's fine. You missed nothing. But the entire movie was okay. It was good to watch. I probably won't watch it a second time, but I will say this much: they just totally fucked the Skywalker saga. They bent it over, made it their bitch, and
I've definitely heard some things,
and kicked them over a cliff. Basically, like they sent off Luke Skywalker, like they just sent him off in a worst way. Like you didn't fuck him, but you might as well have, like just from how bad it was,
right?
Because he was the only character, the best actor there, hands down, the only best actor. Yes. I will say this, a brief rant on it. Wizard Leia. Fucking Wizard Leia. That's it. I'll mention that in the rant section.
Right, okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, people always think me some kind of weird heretic because I personally don't like Star Wars at all. I actually do not like it as a franchise, series, whatever.
No,
I've seen all first 6 episodes. Well, I haven't watched any of the new ones, yeah. And people say, oh, what, you don't like sci-fi? I'm like, oh, actually, sci-fi is my fucking favorite genre, but I don't think it holds a candle to things like, to like Matrix, Blade Runner, Gattaca, Sunshine, like, some are like real good.
I like how Star Trek isn't in there, because like the people that I know who love Star Wars just happen to be Trekkies.
I grew up with Star Trek, but I still don't really like, well, I guess I could watch it if I had to, but I'm not gonna watch it on my own.
What about Discovery?
None of it.
FTD.
I think Voyager's the best.
Okay,
Voyager's the best, but I still wouldn't watch it on my own accord. My dad is a huge Star Trek fan. He has every single DVD, Blu-ray box series. He has figures. He has replicas of things. Like he's been watching.
He has action figures.
He does. He's a big collector of like all kinds of stuff from TV shows and movies.
Oh man!
And so I grew up with Star Trek and everything, and so I don't mind it, but
okay,
I wouldn't watch it on my own accord,
Oh yeah, well, other than that, all I heard, I've never watched Star Trek except for the J.J. Abrams movies.
Okay,
so, like I jumped on board. I would, even if I jumped on board the boat. It's too late. The saga of Star Trek is over. But we're not here to talk about Star Trek. We're here to move on to our next topic.
Yeah, so I think we're done with what we're watching. So let's do a little clank.
All right. Oh, we didn't even mention what we're drinking.
Yeah. So today we're drinking some beers of the Japanese variety.
Yeah. So
aren't we?
I brought these 3 beers from home. So this is Kirin's Prime Brew, Kirin Ichiban's Prime Brew.
Yeah.
So you usually can know it by their gold label.
And I got some the good tried and true Sapporo.
Yeah, definitely.
So we just got some nice Japanese beers today. It's good stuff.
You know, just to keep in with the trend of Japanese animation and everything Japanese.
Exactly.
Otaku culture, man. But our next topic,
video games, I suppose here.
Oh, actually, it'd be reading, but you don't have much.
I always forget because I never read shit.
Ah, okay. Remember, audiobooks is in there. If you got any audiobooks?
No, not right now.
All right, I'll just breeze through them. And I'll just give a brief background on this. So, there was an incident where there's this whole Southern California thing is like a good portion of Southern California is on fire, and the power was out for like 2 or 3 days. So it gave me time to continue reading All You Need Is Kill, it's Edge of Tomorrow book. I read the manga a while ago, and I decided to read the book again. I found it, and the writer has a way with words, and a way with words is fuck, I'm fucked, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. It's just like it's hype action, and the guy's really relatable. He goes from wimp to hero, like Dark Souls hero. So like he got good, but I got caught up with that pretty quickly. So yeah, that was fun. And on a trip, I ended up reading another Tsutomu Nihei manga. Last time it was Blame, but this time it's Biomega. And I'll give a brief synopsis on this. So, it's an action... I can't even fucking describe it. Help me out here.
I haven't read it, so it's hard for me to... I can guess because of his style.
Yeah, it's an action sci-fi.
It's gonna be a little weird, yeah.
It's an action sci-fi... cyberpunk world, I guess. So you're basically like this guy. It revolves around the main character who's on a motorcycle, basically. Like, just he's a super special cyborg guy, I guess.
Right.
He's like Terminator status on a motorcycle, and he just keeps rolling through the punches, and he's just kicking zombie ass. Which the zombies are a side note, because the real bad guys are this organization who wants to like use people to like make the world like enslave the world, I guess. It's your typical like bad guy shit, but it's just you can breathe through that. Something about Tsutomu Nihei's works just like
it's
not easily digestible.
Well, usually there's not much dialogue, so that helps.
No, there's not much dialogue, and when this one, Biomega has a good amount of dialogue. It's just a lot of techno jargon, and the techno jargon really plays no part because it's all in the action. Like, I finished Biomega in 4 hours on a car ride trip, so it just shows like how easy it is to like get through it. And I think that had like 40 chapters, maybe 70. It had a good amount of chapters. I remember it had 4 or 5 volumes. So
probably around 40 then.
Yeah, so yeah, probably
for his stuff, yeah.
And I enjoyed it. Like, it's just one of those mangas you could just sit down and just like fully binge it and like get something out of it. And that concludes my reading segment.
All right, I guess we'll do another quick clink.
Yeah, that was the fastest segment we've ever had.
Never have another one that quick.
Yeah, never again.
So video games, huh? So what have we been playing?
You start this off.
I guess all right. I'll jump in here. So earlier, a couple weeks back, I finished the first Kingdom Hearts. So I'm playing on the 1.5 2.5 HD final mix rather. The one with 6 different games in it. It's got 1, 2, Dream by Sleep, Chains That Bind, and
isn't it
2
Burst
others.
by Sleep?
I don't know what they're called.
I haven't played it yet. I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts yet. I know about that.
But I know it's something by Sleep, and then there's Chains something. There's like 6 games in there, but I just finished the first one for my first time. So I will say, I don't know, as its own story, just by itself, I think it's fairly weak. I mean, I'm sure it was maybe better in the day, and it's definitely Disney circle jerking characters and stuff, which I'm not a huge Disney fan myself, so it didn't really, you know, appeal to me a ton. I mean, I like the characters okay, but I'm not like going crazy, and it wasn't like my childhood, so it didn't like bring any nostalgia to me or anything like that.
Okay,
so
I get it.
But by itself, the whole Kingdom Hearts story, fairly weak. It doesn't tell you anything really. You learn nothing from Kingdom Hearts 1 about the Heartless or anything really.
You just know that there's bad guys.
Yeah, you learn jack shit by the end, which I'm sure the other games will help explain, so I'll have more details on that later. But it was an alright game.
Alright.
I think so. Otherwise, while I was out of my house after being kicked out from a nice hot fire close to my backyard, you know, I was took my PS4 and I was playing Final Fantasy 15 a little bit. So.
Brief question: where did you stay at? Who did you stay with?
So I was with a friend of my sister's. We were like over in Goleta, so a little bit further up. So we were kind of far away from it at that point. So
and so you got to relax. With your PS4 in the living room or something like that? Pretty
much, yeah. And so I was playing Final Fantasy 15 for the first time.
Right.
I don't know if I'll keep playing it right now or in the near future. At least I might wait until the PC release comes out and just replay what I played there and go into it there. But it's a fun game. Like I spent probably like 6 full hours just fucking around the map, doing side quests, exploring around like with the bros. Dude, camping out, like having some good meals with them.
I know there's a lot of... I've seen a lot of Tumblr and YouTube videos of just like memes for like the Final Fantasy. Like it's like I could probably get into it if I like wanted to.
It's very chill compared to other Final Fantasies. It's like, well, at least where I'm at, you know, the very beginning, there's no urgency at all. You know, you're just like. I talked to Sydney, you know, the hot ass fucking mechanic. And she's like, "Oh, can you go do this thing for me for the story?" And I spent literally 6 hours just fucking around the map that I had open, driving the fucking car around, and then go checking out some shit. It was fun.
And then go back to the hot sweet ass.
Yeah, go get some more fuel up, you know, take a peek at that. And then go fuck around some more with my bros.
I gotta admit, I love her design, but I mean, that's just because, like, she just looks really attractive, I guess, for a blonde mechanic gal.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because I've heard the English dub, and I was playing on the Japanese version, as I generally do. It's so crazy how, I was also had the subtitles on. It's like, the adaptation and the way they dubbed it and subtitled it, it's like, it almost feels like a completely different game with how hard they localized it. Like I know Sydney in that she has like a full-on Southern accent and everything in the English version, which she is not like that at all in the Japanese. She doesn't even have an Okinawan accent, no Osaka Ben, nothing. Like she's just straightforward, you know, normal talking. But I know in the English version they fully, you know, stylized her.
They wanted her to have some character.
Yeah, they gave her a full Southern accent, like hard South accent, like Arkansas style.
Well, hey, you know what they say about them Texan girls? No, I don't. Okay, so.
But anyways, just something I wanted to mention about the localization. It was pretty crazy how hard they changed a lot of stuff around and just really gave it a. I don't know if I like it or not, like how they would, you know, kind of put their own twist to it. But I guess I'll know more later. But I know enough Japanese where I can tell when there's an obvious difference in you know, what they're speaking to what is written on the screen. So
like I know they do the whole like accents. I remember Rurouni Kenshin's English dub had this like restaurant girl who, like, I remember in the Japanese, watching it in Japanese once in a while. It just sounded like a normal Japanese accent, I guess. Maybe it was like, I'm a pleb, so I wouldn't know. But they gave her a Texan accent, I guess, and it makes sense to me. You know, like she has an accent. You know, it just makes her, you know, like she's got an accent because she's from like another part of this area and all that stuff. So I get I get that, but I mean, I never found that an issue. You know, it never took away from me.
See, I would think it's fine if it's in usually like
anime or video games.
Well, in like a situation where yes, the person does have an accent, even in Japanese. Like there are definitely dialects and everything that change. Usually, like I said, Osaka, they have their own dialect. Okinawa, they have their own dialect. But then when you have just a straight standard talking, no Osaka bin with like little puns and stuff thrown in, and then they adapt it completely differently, especially in a game where fucking the South doesn't even exist. There is no fucking South, and then they give her this whole Southern accent and like all this stuff. It's like, I don't know, just like it feels weird to me.
Well, I tell you what, it did not take away from the hentai.
It doesn't.
Okay, so.
But yeah,
I dug it.
Just wanted to mention that, and then the last thing I've been playing, Path of Exile. I've been I've had my PoE. Been going crazy on that as I usually do when the new expansions come out.
You say they're free expansions too.
The
right?
whole game is free. Every expansion is free. It's been free since 2011. And it's still free today, and it's amazing.
And it still keeps going and does this stuff. You know,
they release so much content every 3 months. It's insane.
I feel good hearing this from you because I'm in an abusive relationship with a certain game company. So just
you'll
like
get into that.
I've never been hearing someone being rewarded from a game company something.
It's like
and it's free.
It's like the one game company I found that I'm like, it actually loves me.
Yeah, I know.
It loves me for who I am.
and you're having fun with. Okay, tell me a little bit about this new expansion because
so it's a Diablo type game. Well, I guess Diablo type. The isometric action RPG. With tons of customization. So every 3 months they come out with what they call usually a new expansion, new content, and then also a new league is what they have them. So almost like a new ladder kind of thing. They reset the ladder. People start over from nothing. So the expansion was called War for the Atlas, and the Atlas is this in-game map system that they have where you progress through these maps that you find. You find these items that are maps, and they're essentially like little levels that you go through that have their own bosses. It's kind of like their own world that you grind through essentially. And the Atlas is kind of like this huge progression system for the map system. And what happens in the War for the Atlas is the Shaper has always been the main boss for the Atlas, and this new guy called the Elder is trying to influence the Atlas. And he shows up in maps, and he shows up on your Atlas, and he's trying to take over the Atlas for his own personal gain and power. And while the Shaper is trying to keep his own influence over it, and they're fighting. So whenever you go into certain maps, depending on where they've influenced the map or the Atlas, it'll change how the map is. In certain areas, if the Elder gets strong enough, he'll actually kill the bosses in front of you and spawn his own boss that you have to fight instead.
And it's stronger?
Yeah, and it's way stronger and all this stuff. And if he gets strong enough, he'll take over the main biggest boss area where the Shaper usually is, and he has his own like intense, like far beyond in-game boss fight and all this stuff. So
you'd have to be a really experienced player, basically.
That's like way far in, yeah. So it's the game goes deep. Like you can put in 200 hours and never even bother with the last bosses because there's just so much content, pretty much. Like there's just so much shit to do. So
and so you're loved by a game company,
and the game is just really good. It's intense. I play on hardcore because I'm masochistic as fuck, which hardcore is where if you die once you lose your character. That's it, it's gone. Well, technically they go into a different league. They go into standard where all the dead plebs are, or the rich boys who have pulled currency for their whole lives and have the craziest items. But normally you play in the leagues, which have new content. It's like I said, the new ladder system, and I play on hardcore. So I've lost some characters already. You get pretty far, you fuck up, or you overestimate your own strength, and then you fucking die and you lose it all, and you gotta start over.
So like Okay. So honestly, I just don't know if I could play a game like that. But then again, I play Dark Souls, so I've had my saves corrupted and start from ground zero before. So.
Yeah, I mean, you would in that game. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I've been playing since like 2011, since beta. So I'm pretty experienced, and I don't really know how a new person would feel in the game. So maybe it is kind of like Dark Souls, where you would die a lot for your first times through, you know. But after you're good at it, you can kind of rush through things. You know where stuff is. You know your experience. So it might have that same kind of vibe.
You feel confident, and sometimes you'll get slapped down.
And then some of the bosses, they might still slap your ass if you're not careful, you know.
Definitely.
So it might have that same kind of vibe. But then just imagine on hardcore, if you die, you lose your character.
You die in the game. You die in real life. On the inside.
So I love that game. I'll probably in many podcasts in the future keep talking about it because.
Well, I mean, if they keep making expansions, of course.
Yeah, it's good. I love the game. It's good stuff. Grinding Gear Games is the developer. They're in they're in Greenland, Iceland. Whichever one's habitable. I forget which one.
Iceland is habitable. Yeah. Greenland, I think Greenland has like a really, really small like.
I think they're there. Yeah, Iceland,
settlement,
something like that. Yeah, but they're all the way over there on the other side of the pond, as it so would, and they do good stuff.
Okay, so
yeah,
is it my segment?
Yeah,
now?
I haven't been. That's it all for my playing.
Well, you know, so you're loved by a game company. And I'm totally
let me hear about your abusive relationship.
Hate fucked by this game company. So I'm still playing Destiny 2. Like this entire month, I've had my younger brother, who's in the military, stay over at my house, and you know, he brought his Xbox, so I kind of have no excuse to not play with him. So every time I get out of work, it's like, "Yo, man, let's do some raids," or "Yo, man, let's do some Crucible," and I'm just like, okay. Just pound 3 hours a day. Sometimes on the weekend we'd go like a full 6 hours of just playing that game. It's interesting, I guess. But it's a really, I've got so much to say. Like, I just got so much to say just about Destiny 2 that I could save up in the news segment. But Destiny 2 did have a DLC drop come out, and Curse of Osiris was a really fun expansion. But I don't think it was really worth the price I paid for it. I mean, given I got the season pass, I got the huge collector's edition. No, the special edition, I guess.
Right.
So one step below. And, you know, for anyone who actually does have the season pass, might as well stick around for the next 2 other expansions before they fucking make another one and fuck you
another
over.
Season pass and all that.
Yeah, and but it's been fun, you know. Like they had a weapon. Like I'll give this much. Like Bungie pulled out a weapon that's called Prometheum Lens, and it's basically a giant fucking laser. It was the most OP thing in Crucible. Like you could melt people in like under a second with that weapon. Like your time to kill for that weapon is so insane, and I was just so frustrated at some point until I got that weapon and I understood what Bungie wanted. They wanted laser tag.
Damn.
And I guess that was the only highlight of Destiny 2. You know, that DLC gave me the fucking laser tag event, and I loved it. But talk about my next game, which is an Xbox title. Dark Souls 3. Okay. Well, like I'm still playing it with a few friends of mine. I've had some ups and downs with it.
You beat it though before, right? I'm sure.
I've beaten the original campaign. Okay. I have not gotten to the DLC, and I accidentally unlocked the DLC part where, like, you know, you triggered this event to the DLC by talking to this guy in this one area, and later on, and I don't remember the area. He's like kind of there crouching. He's like, "Oh yeah, I need an ashen one to like show like my lady that you know this shit." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll accept." And so he fucking pulls you in like onto this fucking painted world shit. If you remember that from Dark Souls 1, you get sucked into this painted world, and you just have a bad time there. Like, you just totally have a bad time. And I only got like maybe 5 minutes into that DLC part, and I already know I'm underleveled. I'm totally fucked. So, that's just that. But I've been playing with like a few friends of mine, and it's been a good time. Like, I've had some invasions, I've won some, I've lost so many more. But like, Dark Souls is not the destination, it's the fucking journey, I spent hours on that game, and I'm not ashamed of it at all.
As far as Soulsborne goes, I've only played the first, but definitely one of my favorite games. I loved it. It's good. Yeah,
speaking of Soulsborne, I've also been playing Bloodborne on the PS4. So every now and then I dip my hands into the greatest work Miyazaki has ever given me. Not Hayao Miyazaki, by the way. Bloodborne. And I did a little kind of quick stream thinking that I would like... Because, there's a fire going on that's like literally next to us right now. And... like, at the time I thought, okay, I mean, they're probably going to increase the evacuation a little bit down the line. So I'm just like, alright, I'm just going to game it, and when the call comes, I'm just going to go. And turns out, well, it didn't go that far for us. So I gave up playing that game, but I made some progression, and I still love the game. It's like Dark. It's a grinding. It's a grind fest. It's action. It's action so much faster than Dark Souls 3 and any other Dark Souls that came out before that. But I really enjoy it still. Okay. And like, I'm literally fucking Clint Eastwood. Like, I shoot guns every day, man.
I still need to play it. I've seen a lot of it, of course. I can't tell if I would like it more than Dark Souls.
I could tell you straight up, just as a Dark Souls fan, that I love Bloodborne more than Dark Souls.
But I don't know if it's because I like Dark Souls for certain things that I don't know if I would like as much in Bloodborne, I mean, it's like I don't like Dark Souls probably necessarily for every reason that everyone else likes it, so I guess it might be like maybe I won't appreciate it as much. So
it depends, but I mean, gameplay wise, it's probably my favorite out of all the Soulsborne series, all of them. Bloodborne's the top, and if they ever make a Bloodborne 2, which I don't think they will.
Yeah, well, let's see, because definitely the gameplay is what I care about least in Dark Souls.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I think it's pretty, well, it's mostly pretty bare bones if you really break it down. It's fairly weak.
I wouldn't know, but I mean, I always felt like it was always a fair game system.
It's fair, but I just think it's like very bare bones, and I really don't like a lot of weapons in the game.
No, so. I can tell you for Dark Souls 3, there are people who literally just use the same weapons.
That's what I did, because I played through it 3 times, and I was like, I'm going to try all these different weapons. And I tried literally every single weapon that fucking exists in that game. Mm-hmm. And I always went back to halberd, because I hated every other weapon except for halberd.
I'm a katana / straight sword user, so I wouldn't have that issue.
I wouldn't even use the special halberds either. I just use basic ass halberd that you find right at the beginning after the Drake.
Well, you could use the better halberd, which is the Black Knight halberd. It's the strongest one in the game.
I know. I just use basic halberd whole game 3 times through.
All right.
I'm the basic ass bitch, and I just liked it. I don't know, something about it it really resonated with me, and I just
that's fine. Every time. I mean, I mean, this is coming from the guy who loves Dark Souls. I tried doing speedruns, and you can't speedrun the game without getting the Black halberd. This is Dark Souls 1. Yeah. Like, you need the Black Knight's halberd.
I do know about the speedruns, yeah.
It's the best halberd in the game, and it still holds true all the way up to 3, so I get you. But, I think you're wrong. So,
fair enough.
But, yeah, I mean, Bloodborne is probably my best one. My favorite Soulsborne series, and I'm going to keep it at that. Going down to the next one, Hearthstone came out with an expansion.
Yep.
What was it called? Kobold something?
Kobolds and Cucks.
Kobolds and Cucks. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened with it. Like, I always pre-order the expansion every time, like, because I know if I don't have any of these new cards, I'm fucked. And surprisingly enough, that didn't happen. My elemental deck is still it's not OP. It's just so much RNG, and I'm glad like they didn't make me get rid of any cards. So it's still meta. I mean, no, it's still standard, and like I dig it, and I'm excited to see what I can do with the new mage cards. But I've gone up against some really interesting fucking decks, like, and just having the feel of like, okay, you're fighting an old deck, for old being last expansion, you know, a year ago basically. It's like, all right, let's see how well you can fight me, and apparently I can tank. So I love it, you know, and I haven't really updated my deck list, so it's been a fun ride. Like, I've just got quests out of the way, so yeah, you know, Hearthstone is probably the best trading card game. No, it's not even a trading card game.
CCG.
It's
collectible card
game. Thank you. It's probably my favorite collectible card game, and I mean, hey, you know, if it ever comes out in real life, I'd definitely proxy the shit out of it. So that kind of finishes my game segment, and we'll get on to the fun parts.
All right, let's do a little clink. So actually, before we go into the next part, why don't we just mention what we have here up on our page, our front screen?
Oh yeah, so if you're not a man of culture, you probably don't know about Earth-chan.
So yeah, Earth-chan is here to help us try to protect the Earth, to be environmentally friendly, because we have to protect Earth-chan from ourselves.
Yeah, and you know, you gotta remember, she's not flat.
She is not flat. Everyone calls her flat.
Dumb people call her flat.
Dumb people call her flat. She's got something going on.
Yeah, and honestly, like, ever since the meme came out, like you said 2 weeks ago? Like,
it was about 2 weeks ago. I remember seeing the original tweet that someone said, oh, someone should make, you know, an anime, you know, make the planet an anime, and Earth-chan is, you know, a girl, and everyone calls her flat and this stuff. And then eventually it started to catch on, and people started to draw things like these. You know, Earth-chan, who's you know, people call her flat. She's got the moon with her, or she's a little sickly from pollution and stuff, and so she wants people to recycle.
Like, you know, honestly, I wish this campaign started like years ago, but I mean, like, since 2 weeks ago, like, my life has been complete. So like,
I mean, we've seen it all, man.
Or
at least you think you have until someone next thing comes around.
Until somebody, you know, makes an anime girl of the Earth. You know, I didn't ever see it coming, and I didn't know it was something I ever wanted. So I'll say that much. And should we go on to the hard segment now?
So now let's get into
the news. All right, so should I start it off, or should you?
We can alternate a little bit here.
All right.
Go for it. What you got?
You know, I'll just skip ahead because a lot of the stuff I have is literally Destiny 2 news, but I could probably breeze through it if I wanted to.
You can summarize, I guess, or
it's just they did too much in the short amount of time that since our last podcast they just did a lot.
Yeah.
To fuck me. So, alright, you know, I'll just go with it. So, Destiny 2 did lock out DLC, you know, they did lock out some certain content that was in the game beforehand behind the DLC, and that got people pissed off, it got me pissed off, and my brother, he, you know, none the wiser, he didn't give a fuck. So, it just makes me upset that, like, you have to have this DLC. So that's just Bungie being cucks again. But that's not even the worst of it, I guess, you know. The worst of it was the holiday event that came out, you know. Do you like Christmas, Sean?
I enjoy a little bit of Christmas.
You know, you like the holiday spirit, you know, it's a time of giving,
you know, gift
giving and all that shit.
Not too bad.
Well, yeah, they have that in Destiny. And, you know, they Christmas...
But do they give you?
They Crimbus the fuck out of Destiny, you know, you got snowball piles where you could just pick up snowballs, you could destroy enemies with it, or you could just throw it at your fellow guardians and, you know, cover them in snow. And
so yeah,
it's fun.
Is Bungie in the gift giving kind of mood? Or are they generous?
You know, they came out with 59 new Crimbus items that I wouldn't know because I haven't checked it out. You know, I'll just say this much: they're not in the gift giving mood.
I didn't think so.
They want you to pay that money, and I mean it's a 3-week event. Like,
I'm just imagining.
Oh God!
I'm just imagining the scenario of a kid waking up for Christmas morning, and his parents say, "Sorry, to open this present, that's $4.99."
That's basically what happened. I mean, like, so they really want people to go to the Eververse, which is basically the loot box to get like cosmetic items, and this is just cosmetic items. It's not game impacting. It's just fucking cosmetic. It's fucking skin. It's fucking color textures. Fucking ships, ghosts, maybe some armors that you could like fucking put on yourself. It really isn't fucking like complicated, you know, like
right.
I'm sorry, I'm going into a tirade, so let me get back on track. So they made 59 items and they gave you a limited window and a limited amount of options to try to get these new items. And after you do these limited options, you're kind of locked out of it for that week. So let's say 5. You could get maybe 5 Crimbus related loot boxes every week.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-week event. You'll get 15 loot boxes for it. So they really want you to spend that dough, spend your Christmas money on these new items, and I'm not feeling it. It pisses me off. And on top of that, the Curse of Osiris DLC was kind of weak. I'm telling you straight up, it was weak. We got laser tag out of it, and that was it. You know, it got really old fast.
All right.
I'm done with that. I'm done.
All right,
Let's go.
That's it.
You got one more?
So yeah, I got a couple of things here. So
I'm fucking bitter, man.
Yeah, I'll let you cool down for a second here. Take a couple swigs and just relax.
Delicious Sapporo beer.
So a couple things that dropped a few weeks ago. So it was the Mega Man 30th anniversary. They had a live stream where they announced a few things. I'm a big Mega Man fan. I have been forever. So they actually showed that Mega Man is somehow alive. He's been resurrected. Capcom are fucking necromancers, and they brought it back from the dead. Mega Man 11 is coming out after, I don't know, 8 years of no Mega Man or something like that.
Isn't it Cuphead?
Yeah, I guess nowadays.
Okay.
So Mega Man 11 is going to be dropping, I think, next year. So that's pretty cool. I like those classic kind of Mega Mans. And then more excitingly for me, honestly, than the new game is the Mega Man X collections, my favorite of the Mega Man games, where they're dropping Mega Man X 1 through 8 on PC. So instead of me having to fucking drag out my GameCube with my Mega Man X collection, which only has X 1 through 6 on it, and playing that shit on my console, I can just have X 1 through 8 on my PC. Fucking excited about that.
So it's coming to the PC.
Yeah. So that's Mega Man 11 and X 1 through 8 are all coming to the PC. So the collection should be dropping next year sometime, and I'm fucking getting that as soon as it drops.
All right.
I love those games, so I'm happy about that for sure.
And do you know when it's coming out next year?
No, they haven't showed dates yet. I think the collection is probably going to come out maybe first quarter. 11, Mega Man 11. Don't know exactly. It's probably coming out later in the year. It's probably like a year off from now. Like a full year off, I would guess.
Yeah, like I haven't paid attention to Mega Man in like a long time.
Yeah.
Like I know they came out with a bunch of games. I just never had a DS, and now, well, you know, hey, if it's coming to the PC, I'll check it out because I always wanted to have an opportunity to play Mega Man as a kid, and now I get to have that opportunity.
Yeah, so basically at this point, you'll be able to have every single Mega Man on PC because you already have Mega Man 1 through 6 in one game on PC. And then you have Mega Man 7 through 9 or 7 through 10 in another collection on PC. Then they're gonna have X 1 through 8 on PC, then you'll have 11 on PC. So,
and which one was the anime? Which number was the anime that came out in the 2000s?
Oh, that was the Mega Man. I used to have it on VHS. That was they had the robots from the early series from like 1 and 2 basically. Mm-hmm. I remember like actually it was mostly 1 because they had Cut Man, Hard Man, Ice Man.
Wait, did you say Cuck Man?
Cut Man.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cut.
Snip, snip.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember I had the show on VHS. I used to watch it. Yeah, that was from the first game, but the whole story wasn't anything based on the games. It was its own story, just with the same robots.
Oh no, I'm probably thinking of the one that came after that. That came out on 2005, maybe. I guess after that.
Maybe I don't know that one.
It was out on it was an early morning cartoon you'd watch on what was it called? 4Kids?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't even know the channel. It's dead now.
I guess I would have to see which one you're talking about to know, because there was one animated series cartoon that I had seen a couple episodes of.
I think it was called Mega Man Net Warrior or something like that.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, based off the Battle Network games.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Which numbers are the Battle Networks?
They're not mainline games. They're spinoffs.
Oh, okay.
So they came spread out between I think PS1 and the handhelds, like Game Boy Advance and stuff, and then SP, DS.
Well,
so they had a couple games like spread out, which they were a bit different. They were like more like an RPG sort of thing, in a way, than rather just like an action platformer.
Okay, all right. Well, fuck, that's all I know about Mega Man besides the platformer one.
Right. So,
but all I know about that one is one girl was sick.
Wait, what's it again?
One girl was sick. You know,
okay.
I stuck around for that.
All right. So I feel it.
Yeah, hey, I'll get Mega Man on the PC one day.
There you go. So we had the Game Awards drop, and I don't really care about most of the awards because who cares? I don't give a fuck about the biggest streamer or the best esport player, that kind of shit. Like,
no,
whatever.
But tell me, was
Nier did get an award, best soundtrack, as it deserved.
Yeah, as it deserved, but not best RPG.
No, but another good one. It had some competitor, which was Persona 5. Persona 5 won RPG of the Year.
I can't even be mad.
I was like, you know what, it deserves it.
Yeah, I can't.
I was happy for them both. They both got what they deserved. Best RPG and best soundtrack of the year.
You could argue for both that, like, Persona 5 had the best soundtrack. I honestly think I loved both.
Persona 5 also has an amazing soundtrack, and Nier's amazing RPG action.
It gets me hyped, Persona 5 soundtrack gets me excited, gets me that boost of, like, confidence, and then you have Nier that gives me the somber, like, vocals that I just really crave every now and then, You
can just listen to that on its own anytime, and it's just beautiful, and it's so good.
I mentioned playing Stellaris, but what I did not mention was that I always played the Nier Automata soundtrack in the background because it's just so good. Like, just like, Captain, what are we gonna do? Destroy that planet and conquer it in my name. and I'd have fucking Nier fucking backing me up. Yeah, dude.
Nice.
So,
otherwise, what else did they have? I don't remember much. I think Cuphead won a couple awards. I think best art design.
Okay.
And something else might have been best action game. Indie game. Yeah, I think it won best indie.
Yeah, see.
Or best indie debut. Yeah.
Dude, it made a fucking killing. Like, if it didn't get an award for that, I'd be fucking disappointed.
I was happy for them. Game of the year. What? Fuck, I forgot what game of the year fucking was.
Maybe it wasn't important.
I think it probably wasn't. If
Andromeda? Nah.
No, that didn't even make the finals. It didn't even. See, I remember it was between like Horizon Zero Dawn, which didn't win, and it was behind.
Horizon, I was interested in checking out, but I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think of what were the big games. It was one that I was like, okay, it could probably win. Mm-hmm. It was a Nintendo game. It was Mario, I think.
Mario Galaxy?
Or no. It was Zelda. Zelda won Game of the Year.
Oh!
Mario was also in the runnings. Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zelda won it, yeah.
Okay, I can't
I was
be
like,
mad.
okay.
I've never played any of the Zelda games, so you know.
I haven't played Breath of the Wild, so I can't really say if it was better than some of the other things. But
I'm not gonna get an NX just for Zelda, you know, or Mario.
Yeah.
But I heard something else that's news that I will say later, right? I could tie in here, or are you finishing up right now?
With that, or
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Finish it up. Right,
so at the Game Awards, they did have they showed some trailers for some new stuff, which was nice. One of them being kind of cool. Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Our girl,
man. Like, I love Bayonetta 1. I have Bayonetta 2, and I don't even fucking own a fucking Wii U. And
so yeah, I am sad that it is Switch only. I mean, I think one day I probably will get a Switch because it's actually getting a good solid library.
I'll rent that shit off you. I will rent your fucking NX off you. Like,
so I'll probably get one eventually. Yeah, Bayonetta 3. They showed a little trailer. Looked nice. Bayonetta. That's what she's there for.
You know, just the best sexual icon of our generation.
She is. She is indeed.
Like, you know, bringing back that Marilyn Monroe.
You was about to say Marilyn Monroe was the old times, and now we've got Bayonetta.
I love Bayonetta so much. And
so let's see. Afterwards, the week after the Game Awards, we had PlayStation Experience, which I was actually hype about. I was like, yeah, they're gonna show something sick.
What's the experience?
PlayStation Experience.
What is that?
It's another like show by PlayStation, and they're gonna show like new stuff and talk about other things. They have a whole like floor and everything. They have an expo essentially.
Ooh, okay. So it's a con thing?
Come. Yeah, you get to come in. So people had to pay to go see this conference that they did beforehand, where they were supposed to show new things, show all this cool stuff.
Entrance fee, basically, right?
Yeah, just to go see this show. You know, it's like going to E3 and you watch one of the shows, the conferences, basically. Okay. It was like that, and it was so bad. Oh my god, they were an embarrassment. Probably it was like 2 full hours, maybe even longer, maybe 2.5 hours. Probably an hour to hour and a half was just them sitting on a couch around things, bringing in other people, and be like, "Oh, hey, how's that game you're working on going? Oh yeah, we're doing good. We're hitting deadlines and all this. Just like the most random talk show, like bullshit that came out of nowhere, and it was just wasting time. And they're like, all right,
how much do people pay?
Yeah, it was a good amount. I think it was like $50 to go see this thing.
$50 to see
them just
a boring thing?
Just this stuff, and then they're like, all right, well, let's go see this trailer. And then there was shit that they showed a week ago at the fucking Game Awards. They showed the entire Kojima Death Stranding trailer, the exact same one that showed a week before at the Game Awards.
Well, what they could have done... Okay, if I could tie in here, what they could have done was brought Kojima...
They did have Kojima.
They had Kojima?
They had Kojima.
How did they fuck that up?
They had him and, what's his name? The guy who's fucking, the
guy from The Walking Dead?
Yeah, who's the main character in there. Norman, whatever his name is. Yeah, he was there too, and they were just like, "Oh, hey guys, like, yeah, I hope you like our game and everything." And that was it. Like, they brought him on stage for that, and they literally just showed a trailer that they showed a week ago, and they did that for like 5 games. They just showed a trailer that showed a week ago, or even earlier, like E3 trailers, like 6 months back.
Is this the first one?
No, they've been doing this PlayStation Experience for like 4 years.
And it was just bad.
It was so bad. I was like...
You see, this totally went over my radar. I did not know this happened.
I was excited for it. I was watching. Luckily, I was watching
for free
through a restream of someone who was actually funny. who got to know as a Bro Team.
Bro Team, yeah.
And I was watching him fucking shit talk them the whole time, so it at least made it somewhat entertaining. Instead of me just being there watching it disappointed.
At least you didn't spend money.
Yeah, didn't spend any money. But man, I won't go further into it, but that was such an embarrassing showing from them, and it was awful. They showed nothing new. They talked about nothing, and they just wasted 2.5 hours of people's time.
Did they give out drinks?
No, it was literally just like a little theater hall where they just sat there and watched them do nothing.
At least, they could have taken something from Bethesda Land they got people drunk, so that they could like pacify them. Like, I mean, come on, like, I'd be pissed off. You can't expect someone to like.
I was pissed and I didn't even pay for it.
I know. I mean, even Bethesda Land was bad, right?
The thing is, they hyped it so much. Like, PlayStation had been going on and on about this for months. They were like, check out PlayStation Experience, it's going to be really good and all this stuff, like, really hyping it up where you're like, man, they're going to show some good shit. And nothing was new. It was just terrible. Oh, man, that pissed me off. It was so bad. It was just a waste.
Honestly, I don't know. I've never, like... I never even watched E3. I watch, like, those E3 shorts that, like, people, like... meme ones.
I watched a couple of them, like, for what I have console for. I have a PS4, so I watched the PlayStation 1, etc. But, yeah, they're usually not good.
And this time you were...
It's funny, Game Awards was probably the best fucking showing this year of, like, new trailers and all this stuff. Like, they actually showed all the new stuff. They showed new games.
Plus, they had the award ceremony to, like...
At the same time, yeah, you kind of went back and forth. You went awards, trailer. Like, they had it, like, non-stop, like, kind of going and hitting stuff. I was like, okay. It was actually... decent. They showed new stuff, but then, yeah, E3 and all the other stuff is just pretty weak. So,
all right. So, we had some good and bad in the news.
Got that out of my system. Really, only other thing I really want to touch on for news is Catherine getting the remake on PS4 and PS Vita.
So you told me you told me about this like a few days ago, and I have my doubts on it because I'd rather have a new game.
Right, but I don't know. I kind of like them that they're maybe fleshing out the original story more, and they can add stuff.
And it's coming to the PS4.
Yeah, so we can pop that shit in, stream it, do whatever.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. And now the new girl, or maybe it's a girl, we don't even know because it's very mysterious. They've been using gender neutral terminology.
Then that means it's a guy.
It very well could be, but I don't know if they'll go that route. It's hard to say.
I'll tell you this much, like, okay, for some background on this, like, me and Sean wanted to play Catherine a while back, and it turns out we can't stream it.
Through PS Now.
Through PS Now, we can't, and that's very disappointing, but the game is still great, and, like, is it coming to PC or something like that?
No PC port, because it's fucking PS4? Atlas. They never go to fucking PC.
Yeah, no, they just stick to a console. Oh.
But,
I mean, I'm excited, I guess, and I'm kind of doubtful because, I'm assuming it's going to be a $60 game.
I'm sure it'll probably be full price, yeah, So
my issue is that I'm not getting anything new except for possibly a guy.
Could be a guy, maybe
it's a girl.
Maybe it's something completely different because it's kind of a mysterious thing,
Yeah,
it could be just like she's not even human,
Plus, they're not even telling you if like they're adding anything else, like new levels.
They've actually said they're doing like full new scenes and all this stuff. I think they're adding more stuff for our favorite Rapunzel.
Yeah,
Rapunzel
too.
Like they had a whole list of things. I didn't write it down, but they had a whole list of all the new features that they're putting in, which is pretty cool. I remember it was decent, and it should be a good amount of content.
Okay, and, so would it be worth the full price in your opinion?
Hard to say. Maybe like 40. Maybe
okay,
40.
So if it's 40, I would be.
I would justify that
maybe
more.
50. 50 would probably be the most I will ever spend.
Yeah.
For like a rebooted game, I guess.
Yeah.
It's basically the same game with a little bit of flavor added on.
But yeah, so the new character's name is Rin. And it didn't actually click with me at first why they named it Rin. I was thinking they were going to do another Catherine, but with, a fucking Q or some other shit. But I thought, oh, Catherine. Catherine.
So you got Catherine, and then Rin.
I was like, oh, it clicks now, Rin.
What does Rin mean in Japanese? Because that could also be a tie-in.
It might be. I actually don't know if Rin means anything by itself. I know it's a name, but I don't know if... It depends probably what kanji you're using, but I'm not sure.
Alright,
yeah, there's a lot of people speculating, but it's hard to say if it's actually even a female, or maybe not even human, because apparently the the character. It said like the character is a healing character and aids you through the dreams as well, in some ways.
So he could be an angel.
Something like that, yeah.
So okay,
we don't know. We don't know exactly what's going on.
All right, let me give you this bone that I'm gonna throw right now. So you got Catherine the human, the K. You got Catherine the demon, the C, and then you got Rin, who if it is the helpful fairy kind of character that you're saying, angelic. So you got the best of all worlds now.
Exactly. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they tie this new character into the story and change it around with a third girl, or whatever it is.
And since this is Atlas, I think I remember Catherine had a global release. So if it does, that means we're gonna have English voices. So did you like those English voices in Catherine?
I think they're passable. Yeah,
I felt like I enjoyed them. Like, you know, a lot of the actors I knew, but like I got behind the characters.
I'm hearing Liam O'Brien for the 80th time this year, but you know, it's fine.
There you go. Whatever. Yeah, Funimation, whatever. But like, I like the voice acting in the English. Like, it's.
I think it's actually better than most dubs. I think it's pretty good.
Like, the only thing that still gets me is like the lip syncing, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't really
match up.
Do too well, yeah.
But it's Catherine. Yeah, like, you don't play it for the story, you play it for the puzzle climbing. So you do it for both.
We'll definitely be streaming that when it comes out, hopefully next year.
Yeah, I'm getting shit-faced on it.
Look forward to it. Yeah.
You think we can actually do it on hard?
Hell no. Not when we're drunk.
Not when we're drunk. Alright. So.
We went down that path.
Yeah, it was so difficult, but I enjoy it.
It was fun.
I guess I'll look forward to Catherine. I'll keep my eye on it.
Yeah, we'll be watching that.
Yeah. So I guess it's my time to go. My time to shine.
A little bit more news you got here.
Alright, so I don't know if you've heard about the whole FCC who won't let me be. But
I have.
Yeah, net neutrality is being repealed. There's a lot of things I can go on to details about it, but for the uninitiated, 2015 came around with President Obama enacting the, I don't even remember what the name was, but basically it was a bill that protected the rights of consumers from corporate, I'd say internet providers, I guess, from like doing dirty shit with your like freaking like connections, like blocking you from certain websites or slowing down your internet just for certain websites, or like you know, it just did a bunch of stuff, I guess. And 2015 rolled around, that bill passed, and it kind of, you know, I guess you could say it kind of was a golden age of the internet, right?
Recently?
Basically after 2015 when the bill was enacted to protect the internet, basically.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm an advocate of a good free internet. You know, I like my internet service providers do not stick their nose into where they shouldn't. But also I love my porn, so...
Yeah, I mean,
net neutrality needs to stay.
If they're making me pay $9.99 for my Japanese fetish porn package, then you know I'm gonna fucking pay it, but I'm not gonna be happy about it.
Oh, it's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Can you imagine? Like, okay, here, I'll give you this situation. Like, you got a girlfriend and all this shit. You know, you get into arguments over the shittiest things, I guess, and this is just another fucking thing that she's gonna grill you on. Basically, you're paying this much for porn. I'm just like, what can you do? It shows up on the billing statement. You got your internet service here and your extra add-on for big busty Latina girl pajama party or shit like that. You know, it's just, they're gonna package you like.
We'll see what happens. It still isn't fully technically repealed, but it's getting really close.
Yeah, I mean, it's going through Congress, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. It's going down the lines, and like at some point, if Congress doesn't stop it, our only hope is going to be.
I just think it's so bad how they structure the voting for that, Literally, it was voted on by 5 people to have it repealed or not. And one of the people is Ajit Pai, who proposed it. How are you going to let the person who proposed it vote on it too? It's like, and it's only 5 people. He has 20% of the fucking say on that. When he's the one who has the biggest bias and is obviously going to say repeal it.
I'll give Ajit Pai this. I bet he knows how to suck dick real good with those lips.
Oh, he's got big, nice lips.
Set of lips right there.
Beautiful.
Verizon really loves them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, but net neutrality needs to stay. God Emperor is probably going to be our last hope if Congress doesn't stop it. I mean, one veto from him and it's done with until like the future. But even he doesn't get it, so we'll hope, it'll be tough.
The thing we'll hope is that he would rather have control over the internet than the consumer or the businesses. Yeah, and he'll be like, you know what? I'd rather stay more in control than you.
There's already a huge backlash on it right now. Like,
oh yeah,
there's a bunch of like, how many 15 states already are suing the FCC for corruption?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
like California is among them.
Yeah, of course. It's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll tie in with that because there's another state I want to talk about. I think you know about this. That's not related to net neutrality, but the whole loot box craze. Hawaii?
Hawaii, yes. Lee Chris, I believe his name is. Or Chris Lee, sorry.
You know a little bit more about this than I do, so how about you tie it in?
Yeah, so the Hawaiian legislator, Chris Lee, I believe his name is.
Chris Lee, what's his name, huh?
He's started to work on passing actual legislation that will ban anyone, or ban rather games being sold to anyone below 21 that have loot box mechanics or otherwise gambling mechanics in them.
So, I guess you could say maybe loot box games are going to be adult rated games?
Basically, yeah, they'd be 21 plus. They'd be their own thing. Maybe it's like gambling.
You got your cigarettes, you got your alcohol, 21 plus, and now you have vidya.
Yeah,
21 plus.
And it's hard. It's a long ways off if it ever did, but it would probably be something that the companies would have to just restructure and find a new way that kind of loopholes past that shit, and they would probably do it somehow.
Well, I mean, it still doesn't take into account that there are still people who just think video games are video games, and they still buy fucking M-rated games for their 13-year-old kids.
Right? Yeah, and with no regards of what's actually in it and all that stuff, and what the online is, or they don't care. That kind of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things that I don't actually expect it to really go anywhere, but I'd be happy if something happened to help regulate, because I think it does need to be regulated somehow. Definitely. It's out of hand, especially with this whole EA and Battlefront 2 thing. That went Activision. So crazy. Yeah, it got to the point where Disney had to step in and say, "Hey, you're fucking up right now. You need to do something."
You do know they only stepped up because they had The Last Jedi coming out soon, and I mean, people are already talking badly about The Last Jedi, and some people defend it, some people love it. Some people don't.
So it's looking harder for the Star Wars franchise. So either Disney's going to do something drastic because people are just like the movies are going down in popularity, the games, getting total bad rap and PR. So
definitely
the Star Wars franchise isn't looking as strong right now, as it once did.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I mean, even Activision has been in a bad situation, and this is just on Destiny. I can't even imagine any other game that they're doing. So
right, yeah. Like actual pay to win shit.
It's not even pay to win for Activision. It's just pay to look good.
Well, no, for Destiny, but I'm talking about other places like Activision, where it's literally pay to win gambling.
I mean, for that legislation thing in Hawaii, I agree. Because it's not just these AAA title companies, it's also phone app games.
Oh yeah, phone app games is probably the biggest.
It's where the money's at, and it's totally abusable.
And you think about it today, it's so many kids 8 years old to 12 have phones or tablets, and their parents just get them these free games or whatever, and then they maybe buy them random shit in these games, and they don't know what it's going towards, and the kids are literally just gambling their shit away, the money away, and they don't really understand it the same way, and the parents don't look into it or understand it usually, so it's like,
oh no,
it's bad.
Well, hopefully, you know, if it does pass, it means it's gonna probably pass down the line in other states.
Yeah.
Like, if it works, you know, that's other people will follow.
Right.
I'm hoping it's something good.
It'll be a long ways off, but I hope something happens. Which that's at least a step in the right direction. Alright,
and this is my last news topic, given that it's been I guess you could say this is the highlight of the news, since we're living it. But as of currently, there's something called the Thomas Fire. Have you heard of it, Sean?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Alright.
It's heard of me too.
Yeah, definitely. So, as of December 4th, up to right now, there's a huge California fire going on, and
over 250,000 acres of I believe it's now the second biggest fire.
No, right now I think it's like the worst fire.
Is it finally number one again?
Yeah, okay. Finally.
I mean, it was probably going to hit that eventually at the rate it was going. So
yeah,
literally the biggest fire that California's had in recent.
Oh, and we've had terrible fucking winds, like that's just been fanning the flames even worse.
Yeah, basically last week when about the time we were supposed to do the podcast, the winds came about from some sundowners. We had up to like 50, 60, even 80 mile an hour winds in the valleys, blowing these fires around, blowing smoke, all this stuff, and just fanning the flames. I had to evacuate my house because I was in a mandatory evacuation area.
My brother, my good friend David had to evacuate. So he was with you in that boat.
Yeah, so that sucked. I was out of my house for 5 days. Just fucking. Just out of it, we had to pack shit up Saturday morning and fucking dip out.
Yeah, and like, I remember like coming back into town around like December 4th. I'll tell you this much: I came into town like I'm passing by like Ventura and Ojai, and everything's just pitch fucking black. Like,
yeah,
you're going down Conejo Road, and you're just like you just see a fucking glow of red. And no fucking power. And the closer you got to the town, the less cell reception you got. And it just was like freaking me out. Like,
yeah, it was brutal.
So yeah, for the first week, power was very difficult to get. I was out of the job for like 2 days. So like, shit went down since the last podcast, and real fast. And finally,
So now it's back to a stable area. It's no longer a threat to the city.
Yeah, it's 65% contained. So, it's 65% contained. Yeah. It keeps dipping and going up again, but 65 is a lot more better than 5%. So,
I'm glad none of us, had anything damaged, no properties. Damaged, no one's house burned down, at least for us or people we know. So at least thankful for that.
Well,
especially considering how fucking huge the fire was, and it didn't do nearly as much damage as it could have.
It's okay. Your waifu Rin would have saved us.
Exactly. I left my army of Rin figurines and here at my house just to protect the home, and she did good.
Yeah. Hopefully, it never happens again. So yeah,
she doesn't have any more jewels. She's gotta charge more jewels of magic power.
Well, where she puts those jewels afterwards, right?
Yeah, I guess I could take a guess.
Okay, all right. Well, speaking of jewels, let's get on to our next and second to last topic.
All right.
Our not our recommendation.
Well,
what is it?
We're recommending tags here.
There we go. Our tags.
Doujinshi tags, or otherwise hentai.
Basically, so should you? I should start off, I guess, just because mine's really basic.
Okay, yeah.
I'm being generous and not giving you a really fucked up one. So I'm gonna start you off with something that is very close to my heart. Paizuri.
That's close to the woman's heart too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right there, right in front of the heart.
Yeah, my heart is also my dick. It throbs, it beats. It has a lot of blood. Okay, alright. jokes aside, paizuri. So, it is the act of thrusting a penis or a similar item in between breasts. So it's basically boob jobs, and like, you know, what guy can't get behind that, you know? Nice pair of tits, you know, it doesn't matter if you're flat, you know, you get off somehow. It's just bigger is better, I guess, in that, and you know, just it's close to the girl's heart. You know,
feel the heartbeat on your dick.
There you go. So it's got a lot of it's a really simple tag.
It's common. It's very common. It's one of the most common things you'll find in any hentai or doujinshi. It's
like boob jobs are a thing.
It's at least got to be in like 25% of all doujinshi that exists.
You mean that isn't yaoi?
I'm sure there's some boob jobs in there.
You know what?
I haven't gone looking. I haven't gone looking, but I'm sure there's some in there.
You know, I'll probably ask a few people that I know who'd probably tell me straight up, but even then, I'm not going to be looking. I'll just be asking.
Yeah.
So, there's my tag, paizuri, Paizuri. You know, learn it, love it, or don't. I don't care.
But what do you think about naizuri?
Nice.
The act of getting a boob job from a girl with no boobs.
Naizuri? That's
Nai, as in like none. Naizuri.
No, you see, I know.
You're even closer to her heart now.
Yeah, you're even closer to your heart. You see, you got a lot of things going for flat, and like, you know, even if they're small titties, you can get something off on it. And I mean, you got the nipples that'll fucking get you like excited somewhere here and there if they, you know, poke right. So it depends, but from experience, no, I don't think I've ever had that, and
just
I haven't seen
opinion.
any doujinshi with naizuri.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to correct that later.
You'll have to send me some my way, man.
All right. It's a hard one to come by, especially because it's not an actual tag. So you're kind of tough to find it.
All right, but that's not even so. It's not since it's not a tag.
Exactly.
What is your tag?
My tag. It's a rare one. This is one that you don't find often.
Oh bullshit!
There's probably 30 doujinshi that exists in the world with this tag. It's male netorare, not the standard female netorare.
Oh.
It's different. We got the reverse one here. So instead of the standard, you know, guy getting cucked, having his girl get banged by some fat dude in a hotel or all that kind of stuff, you've got the opposite where it's usually handled differently in doujinshi.
The guy is seduced, basically?
Basically, the guy is usually seduced by, you know, a nice femme-doming woman, a very, you know, domineering woman.
I've seen some stories like that.
They're tough to come by, but you've got you know, this domineering woman over this guy who's, you know, in a relationship usually or some other, and she's taken over. That's her dick now. She's taken over. The girl may find out, you know, the girl that is in a relationship. Yeah.
You know, hey, you know.
And it's not handled the same way that the standard netorari is handled, where you know, it's just straight up guy getting stolen and banging in front of the other person. You know, it's handled more subtly, which is what I like about it. You know,
so it's a sly fuck
because it's much more rare to come by. So the people who do this tag are you know, they kind of put some more effort into it, but it's a good one. You know, it's some cuckolding, but it's different. You know, it's
true.
It's a whole different story. You know, where you've got this fucking woman that's taken over. She's taking the guy. She's stealing it from someone else.
And it's not always the domineering girl. It
not
could
always,
be like sometimes like guys in a fucking deadbeat relationship, and like there's this other girl that comes along. Like
exactly, yeah.
So it's basically for me and for you, I'm assuming, because I've only seen a few of these, but I feel pretty attached to it already. It's basically like it's so subtle that, you know, we all have cheating fantasies and you can fulfill them through these.
Exactly, yeah. So, and it's not the one where you're just watching your own woman
get banged.
You can be smashed by someone else,
or not.
So it's for us males. I think it's better, than being just a straight up cuck and wanting to see your wife be banged by someone else.
Well, I mean, a lot of neutrality tags don't do that, in my opinion. I feel like they just do the guy's just an oblivious fuck. Like
exactly,
he has no idea. Secretly down the line, his wife / girlfriend is literally being like banged by her boss.
Right, exactly.
In the next room.
Right. So that's what I wanted to bring up. So male neutrality. It's a different one. It's hard to come by. Like I said, there's not even 50 of these that exist out there. It's tough to come by. So.
Well, then you'll have to send me those 50. All right. And I'm excited. I even have like a short story of like this one H book, it's an H book with like different chapters of like different stuff, and one of them was literally that setup, and it was the guy trying to troubleshoot his neighbor's computer. So yeah, every time she went to work, he had some fun.
Damn. All right. So I guess that's it for tags now. So we'll get into our last topic here.
Recommendations?
Recommendations. What do we want to tell you guys to watch or read or play? Edwin?
So for me, I guess I'll start with the game. So I'm gonna recommend you Doki Doki Literature Club. Since the last games I've already recommended. Doki Doki Literature Club is a free PC game, or if you really want to be generous, you can buy the game for like less than $20. Support the devs and all that shit with it. I did, and I don't regret it, yet I haven't played the game. But I know what the game's offering.
It's good stuff. I mean, we're at the end of the year. It's won a lot of awards from a bunch of different places. I think what was it? PC Gamer gave it a bunch of different awards in things that it was in. So people have recognized it for its greatness. It was ingenuitive as far as the visual novel kind of genre goes. So
like if you don't know what a visual novel, it's just basically a video game. That text-based video game adventure.
It's a choose your own adventure kind of thing. Usually,
yeah. There you go. Thank you.
You pick your own pathways, various options. Usually, it's with different girls that you can romance or something like that. So,
yeah. And this one, I'm not going to reveal too much since I haven't even played it, but the internet has done its job. It's got a lot to offer, and by
it's darker.
Yeah, there you go. It's dark.
It's a little dark.
It's dark. It does a bunch of it's got a good horror aspect to it. Like if you know how to play visual novels, it'll throw a wrench at you.
Yep.
And if you don't know much about visual novels, that it just means you just don't dodge the fucking wrench. You're just totally gonna have a surprising time. There.
Easy to get into. You can beat it in 3-4 hours easily, just reading it at a casual pace and doing your own thing. So it's not long at all. You can really crack it out in an evening or two.
Oh yeah. So that's my recommendation for video games, since I don't want to recommend anyone ever jump in on Destiny. So my anime recommendation is Love is Like a Cocktail. I mean, I talked a lot about MMO Junkie and how I think it's a pretty good show. But Love is Like a Cocktail is a really quick series you can watch. Like, it's got something to offer, and if you're an alcoholic, well, you're gonna learn a lot. Some of the drinks are non-alcoholic, some of them are. Most of them are.
So let me ask you, what was your favorite drink that they showed?
The Bellini.
Okay.
Which is champagne with peach puree. You pour the champagne nice and slowly, to not get as much bubbles and foam, and then you put your peach puree, get some nice peaches or canned peaches, get that blended up nice and good, and then just slowly dip it in with a spoon, just barely above the champagne, and just slowly start pouring it over it and letting it settle down, and you get a nice layer of champagne and then a top layer of peach puree, and it's just one of those sweet cocktails that you'll wow someone with it. Like it looks classy, it looks good, it tastes good, and it's just beautiful, man. Right. Like I love that color.
Good shit.
And yeah, there's a few things I like about it, but the Bellini fucking has my heart right now.
All right.
And the last thing for reading, I guess, my recommendation is just anything made by Tsutomu Nihei, because you could just get through that in 3 or 4 hours. You know, you'll get really hyped up on the action. There's so much to see. Like, I could spend an entire hour just admiring, like, just an entire chapter of, like, no, just like of a lot of chapters, but I just spent a lot of time just admiring the background. There's not much story to really get attached to, but those backgrounds, man, like the amount of detail is thick, and like just the fact that the story is a breeze to go through just makes that atmosphere feel so good. And like doesn't matter what you pick up. My read this week was Biomega, but you could read Blame.
Blame's probably one you'd start with, I guess. Definitely. If you're reading a Stone Nihei.
Yeah, it's like one of his early works. Like he has a few other ones. Like he did a lot of one shots, but Blame is one of my favorites. I know he has a new manga. That's oh, okay, my bad. Anything Tsutomu Nihei, and with kind of a slight exception for Knights of Sidonia, because the ending cucked me. But he has a new work, which is basically going back to his roots of like making super beautiful panels and backgrounds. And I'm really excited to look for it when I actually get a manga translation for it.
Nice, alright.
So, yeah, that kind of fulfills my recommendations. What do you recommend?
I've got a couple of recommendations. So, one of them, Soko no Strain is the anime. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of an older one, I think around maybe 2005. It's got a girl, oh shit, now I forget her name. The Japanese voice actress, the same who does Saber. You know, very recognizable voice you got there. Mm-hmm. It's about this girl trying to find her brother who disappeared. It's like a sci-fi kind of, you know, with mechas and stuff like that. He went off to go do some, I believe it was like military stuff. Mm-hmm. And as she grew up and everything, he disappeared, and she went to go find him. Mm-hmm. He eventually became a bad guy, essentially, and now she wants to stop him. There's a lot more to it than that I'm probably forgetting because I watched it so long ago, but it's a really good show, and it's a kind of a weird one that a lot of people haven't heard of. It wasn't very popular, but it's a good story, and it's an interesting one.
What's the name for it again?
So, Soko no Strain.
Soko, S-O-K-O, right?
S-O-U-K-O-U.
S-O-U-K-O-U.
Yeah.
Soko
no Strain.
Alright, so...
kind of a weird, interesting one, but it's like a sci-fi thing, and with like kind of like a revenge story going on, so...
I'll probably remember Strain a lot more easily.
Yeah, you could find it with Strain, I'm sure.
I hope.
Or just look up Saber's voice actress and go find shit she's done, and you'll find it.
So it'll be the one with Strain.
Exactly.
All right.
You'll find it there.
Okay. So what else?
And so video games, I'll recommend Path of Exile. So if you like any kind of, you know,
if you want to be loved by a game company,
if you want to have a game that'll give you so much content that you don't even know what to do with yourself, it's a game that has I would say it's a fairly steep learning curve, but you know, you work yourself into it and you learn a little bit at a time. There's a lot to learn. There's tons of mechanics that haven't ever been done in other games. And it's if you like any kind of isometric action RPGs, any Diablo type games, then it's truly the Diablo 2, you know, successor, unlike Diablo 3.
So it's Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Path of Exile.
That's how they came along, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And it's truly a love of labor from the developers. They literally started it in their garage and just made it from, I think, 2, maybe 3 people. Now they have like a 90 employee company because they're doing so well, and it's a good game, and they're always coming out with new content every 3 months. Like you can basically just get an endless amount of content from it. So it's a great game.
All right, so
I recommend it.
And what's your last recommendation?
I've got nothing else, as again I don't read. jack shit.
Well,
maybe
then
I'll
how
pick
about
up on
pull
something
out. Pull something out right now.
Okay, so something I've read in the past that always comes to my mind. It's called Murasaki no Qualia, or Qualia of the Purple, I believe it is.
I've never heard of it.
It's a manga. It's fairly short. It was like 20 something chapters. Kind of has like it's like this weird, maybe sci-fi ish. It's kind of like this time travel thing that's going on is the main thing.
Right.
And with some like Yuri undertones, but it has some crazy twists and everything. I really can't say anything without it being spoilery because there's a lot of just things that you learn as you read it. But it is a manga that I really liked, and it's short. Like I said, 20, maybe like 26, 27 chapters, probably like 3 volumes. Murasaki no Qualia. It's a really good one that you can just go through in one evening, and it has an amazing ending. It goes through some shit. It'll mindfuck you a little bit. It's pretty good.
Cool. Can you say that again?
So Murasaki no Qualia.
So if I
Qualia.
So if I put Murasaki and I find Qualia,
probably find Qualia. Qualia. Qualia, yeah.
Oh, fuck, that's fucking. I thought it. You see, I had an R. It's probably the drinks, I guess.
Yeah. So Qualia. It's Qualia of the Purple in English, I think it is. That's probably how you can find it. Look for Qualia manga, and you'll probably find it. It was an interesting one, yeah, and it'll mindfuck you in the end, and you'll really feel for the main character. It's got some shit with her.
All right. So. Well. I'd say this is probably the best send-off for the year, I guess. We just finished the last podcast.
Another podcast. Yeah, last podcast of the year, this one.
Yeah, it would have been the 15th, but, thankfully that fire postponed it just at the right time.
Yeah,
the week of Christmas.
Yeah, we got it right before Christmas, so good shit.
Yeah, so, you guys stay safe, stay warm. Luckily we have a fire to keep us here.
Exactly.
But, you guys have a good Crimbus, and
happy holidays, whatever
guys.
Holidays yours.
Whatever you spend, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Late.